Morning, everybody. Topherocks here, on my way to work once again, and I wanted to take some time today to talk about the film Glass and what makes it great. You know, I went into The Last Jedi, another highly anticipated film for me, and maybe I just went in with too many expectations for that film, but critics rave that it subverted your expectations. That's one reason why it made it so great, and I was the complete opposite. I mean, we had 30 years of Luke Skywalker in film and TV shows and comic books and novels and all that, and we had an idea of the character, and what we saw was just something completely different. It didn't make any sense. And in that case, I hated the film. That was the main reason I disliked the film. And with Glass, the ending, and this review, or whatever you want to call this video is going to be full of spoilers. So hope you guys have seen the film. If not, just come back and watch it later. Yeah, so basically, Glass ends on such a surprise for a comic book film. I don't know how to describe it. It's not somber, it's actually uplifting. You think it's going to end in a horrible, somber way, and if it did end where the three main characters die and it just, fades to black, I would have been upset. I wouldn't have liked the film. It would have ruined the whole experience for me. So I'm happy that there was an additional ending, essentially, with Mr. Glass winning in the end. And that's why the film is called Glass, because he does win at the end, and he's the one behind revealing to the world that they're out there, that superpowered people are out there. And I love seeing that. It's a bit of a rip-off of the show Heroes, which I really enjoyed back in the day. It got pretty bad as it went along. Especially the second season was god-awful, I thought. But the first season of Heroes is one of my favorite seasons of television ever. And a lot of that was about, trying to reveal themselves to the world. And that's what Claire, one of the main characters, always wanted to do, was show that they're out there and show that they're special. And Mr. Glass has always wanted that. That's been his main objective, not to rule the world or kill the whole world or anything like that. Basically, he just did what he could to try and complete his objective, is essentially what he did. And unfortunately, a lot of people died in the way of that. And in this film, yeah, some people died that probably didn't have to die, but that's just the way he operates. And his goal was completed. He didn't care if he lived or died. I mean, he was an old man, and his teeth got all rotted and stuff, and couldn't even walk anymore. So he just wanted to complete his objective and move on. And that's exactly what he did. And his main thing was that he couldn't provide much to the world physically, but he could provide something even grander, which is the reveal of these people with powers and people that are different and people that can change the world. And that's exactly what he did, which I loved. And so I thought a lot of people complain that the movie's called Glass, and I think it's perfect. You're not going to call it David Dunn or Unbreakable 2 or Split 2. It was closer to a Split 2 than an Unbreakable 2, obviously, but I thought Glass was a great title, and I thought it fit the film with the ending that it had. And, my biggest gripe with the film was that David Dunn just gets his face shoved into a puddle. But once again, he's the hero of the film, and you expect him to win out in the end, have a big battle with the Beast, and that's exactly pretty much the opposite of what happens. They have a good battle, but he's just killed by these faceless guards from this Clover Society, or whatever you want to call them, just drowned in a puddle, which I thought was a little goofy. That was another gripe that I had with the film, was so he's fighting the Beast, a really strong, super-powered guy, gets thrown into this giant tub of water, which is his biggest weakness, is kryptonite, essentially, as most of you know. And he's able to fight the beast while I think he was in 1,500 gallons of water or something like that. But he's still able to bust the side of it out to get out. But he can't fight off two guys that are putting his face into a puddle. That's a little strange to me, but I'll give it a pass, because it's not a metaphor, but it's just so, that's how strong his weakness was, that he couldn't fight back. And these people, that was one thing I liked too, that they didn't just hunt down good superheroes. They didn't just count down. Man, I can't talk this morning, sorry. Hunt down bad guys and good guys. They treat them the same. Whether they've saved a bunch of people or killed a bunch of people, they will give them time to try and convert them to just thinking that they're human and normal. Give them 3 days or whatever the case was, and then they'll just take them out. Try and keep the balance of just humans in the world, I guess. So I thought that was a cool play, because it wasn't just like Heroes. The company they were called on Heroes, they didn't do that exactly. They would experiment with them, test them, and oversee them and such, and sometimes use them as agents and field agents. And this organization didn't do that. They would just take them out. And I guess they've been around for 10,000 years. So I thought that was interesting. I did not see that coming whatsoever, and that's what I thought made it great, because there's so many superhero movies these days. We get 7 a year, it feels like. Maybe not quite that many, but... And don't get me wrong, I love the Marvel films. Infinity War was one of the best experiences I've ever had seeing a movie. And that movie felt different, but a lot of them do feel pretty close to the same, in terms of, the heroes, you see their origin or whatever, and then they have a conflict in the middle, and then they have a big battle at the end, and they got to save the world or the universe or whatever, stop the bomb. This had none of that, which I thought was great. You thought, they set it up as a traditional superhero with a battle at the tower that the whole world would see, which, don't get me wrong, would have been amazing to see. It would have been like Man of Steel or something, but I knew they didn't have the budget to do that, so I knew that they weren't going to go to that tower. But the battle that we got was still pretty good, and it was grounded and kind of realistic compared to most superhero films. Not a lot of CGI or anything like that. So I wasn't huge on the point of POV shots, of the camera just being right there with you while the beast is like bear hugging David Dunn. It was interesting. I haven't really seen that before, I guess, and I think that's what M. Night was going for. So I like that he tried new things, and I think that's one of the main reasons that makes this film good. It's really got panned pretty badly by the critics, and I guess they just don't really know what he was going for, I guess, because it's a different type of film. It's slow. It's a slow burn. It's a slow-paced film, but it's on purpose to study the characters. Like Unbreakable, it's not a big action film. It's a drama, and then Split was a really solid psychological kind of horror thriller type of movie, which I like too. So it's kind of cool that all three films are a little bit different in tone and genre, and that they focus on different things. Would I have loved to see just a straight up sequel to Unbreakable? Absolutely. I think Unbreakable is just a masterpiece. I watched it again recently, and it just gets better every time I watch it. The main thing I love about that film, which is something that happens in this film as well, in Glass, is that near the end of the film, David Dunn realizes who he is and what his purpose is, and he finally fulfills that. And I love seeing that. In Bohemian Rhapsody, another movie that came out last year, one of my favorites, it was amazing to see Rami Malek playing Freddie Mercury. It felt like he was supposed to do that. He did such a great job. And then, you know, and then it's like Freddie Mercury was doing exactly what he was supposed to be doing, you know, entertaining people, singing, being in Queen. That felt like his purpose. And it's cool to see people fulfilling that and realizing who they are and what they're supposed to do. And Glass, you know, Elijah finally gets to do that. He finally gets to do what he's always wanted to do, reveal to the world who he is, and that there's special people out there, and that he's a special guy, and that he wasn't a mistake, you know. Like I said before, he couldn't provide much physically to the world, but he could provide a lot of other things, and a lot of bad things too. But it's good to get that secret out there, and it was really, it was a good way to end the film, you know, especially if M. Night didn't want to do another one. That's how you got to do it, I guess. Kill the characters and end it. And you know, I guess it does open the world up to new people, but I don't think we'd really want to see. I don't know, maybe if it was an interesting character or two, like he did with these characters. You know, so I'd be open to another one, but I'm kind of happy it didn't do, you know, your typical post-credit scene where it sets up another movie, you know, like Green Lantern did, and we never got it, so it was kind of pointless. So they could always, you know, write something that David Dunn didn't actually die, and they could do another movie with Bruce if they wanted to. I'd be down for that. I think David Dunn's a great character, and I thought he did a really good job with what he had to do in the film. It did suck that he was a bit sidelined, but you understood it wasn't his movie. It was kind of all three of their movies, and Sarah Paulson too. And I thought she did a good job for what she was doing. She was a pretty evil character, but you understood at the end what she was trying to do, and that she really did care about them, that she wanted to help them so they didn't get killed, which I liked. I just thought that was, you know, it was a great film because it was different. You know, sometimes films try and be different, and they're just bad. They try and do weird things, and, you know, this was kind of out of left field, and they didn't really set up the whole society all that well. But shit, I really liked the movie. Like I said, if it would have ended with all three characters dying, and it just ended, I would not have liked the movie. But luckily, it had the additional tacked on, you know, plot with Elijah setting up a new world, essentially a new universe, which was really cool. I'm at work now, but I guess I'll just finish up this video here. I don't know. It's refreshing, and it sucks to see so many people were disappointed in it, and it's, you know, it feels weird, like kind of liking something that a lot of people don't, but I don't know. I've read a lot of comments from the fans and audience members, and they really enjoyed the film and liked that it was different and it wasn't the same setup and same ending that most comic book films have, and I think that's what makes it great. Please let me know if you guys like Glass, or if you didn't like Glass. Leave some comments for me. Love to read them and maybe start a discussion. And it's just fun to have a film to talk about. It kind of reminds me of Prometheus. I wasn't in love with that movie or anything. Very cool looking film, but a lot of dumb characters, a lot of dumb stuff in it. But it gave you a lot of stuff to talk about, which I think that's another reason this movie is great. It gives you a lot of stuff to talk about and debate, and it's just a good film, and I really can't wait to see it again. It's interesting, you know, you see a film and it just stays with you a few days. That's when you know you really like it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave some comments for me, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.